We are becoming Bnei Machshava Tova, bearers of healthy thinking. I know I translate it differently every day, but it's good because you can't really translate Hebrew. So put them all together and you'll get some kind of idea of what's going on. And so far, we've been speaking about palpable, conscious, personal relationship with God, infinite consciousness. And yesterday's class was really all about simcha, joyful exuberance. Ooh, that's a good word. Exuberance. Are you walking around with simchat chayim? Are you walking around with, are you just joyful? Are you walking through the dungeon and you're like singing to yourself and you're smiling at people and it's like, you know what, life's okay. There's stuff, we got stuff. I'm not going to let it get me down, life's good. You see people like, I love you, look. Jew, beautiful. We're in Jerusalem, the sun's shining. We have food. Everyone had food this morning? Yeah? You had the bread last night? Yeah? You're in an air-conditioned room? Amazing. Your ancestors were praying and crying for 2,000 years to see Jerusalem and you're here? Wow! That's amazing. Even if you just said 100 years ago, don't worry. We'll be in Jerusalem. It will be our capital and our homeland. People will be like, people in Germany, they'll be like, what are you talking about? And here we are, living the dream. We're living the dream. Unbelievable. We're moving on to paragraph number 3 now. V'lo b'tefila ve'avoda bilvad. We said this, well, he didn't actually say it, but I put it in to his words earlier. Not just when we're praying, and not just when we're learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. Lo b'tefila ve'avoda bilvad nargish et hitkarvutenu el Hashem. Not just when we're davening and learning Torah and doing mitzvahs should we feel our closeness to Hashem. You know what? For many people out there, it's like not even when I'm davening do I feel my closeness to Hashem. So he's just assuming that when you're davening, you're feeling deeply close to Hashem. But we're like, trying. Are you feeling deeply close to Hashem when you're davening mincha? How was Shachris this morning? You davened? How was your Shmoneh Esrei? Were you feeling palpably? Was it difficult to say the words because you were just in such awe that you were standing in front of the divine creator? It must be like. Did you find it difficult to say the word Ata, you, Baruch? Oh my goodness, how can I even say the word you to God? I'm actually speaking to God. How can you do that? You're just a little thing with all your issues and you get hungry, you need to go to the bathroom and you get upset about little things and you're going to stand and say you to God? Baruch Atah. So did you say in your Shmoneh Esrei today, you were like, Baruch Atah. And you were like, oh, I just said you to God. I can't believe. And then you said God's name. Oh my God. You don't even say the Rosh Yeshiva's name, do you? How's the Rosh Yeshiva today? You don't say, hey Yitzi, how you doing? How's the Rosh Yeshiva? You don't even say the Rosh Yeshiva's name. And some people don't say my name, which I find quite weird actually. Now you can say you to me. Someone said to me the other day, does the rabbi have guests for Shabbos? And I was like, which rabbi? And they were like, the rabbi. And I was like, what? Like, oh, me? You just say you. If you can say you to God, you can say you to me. It's okay.
Do you have guests for Shabbos?
No.
Do you want guests for Shabbos?
No. Baruch. I need to do. Baruch Atah. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvarei.
Amen.
It's very difficult to make a real bracha when you just said what I said and people are watching you making a bracha. That was very hard. I feel I did it okay. Not just when you're praying and doing mitzvahs should you feel close to Hashem. Not even, no. V'nit anag meziv kvoidoi yisparach, and delight in the radiance of His glory. I want to teach you how to learn deep Torah, Panemius Torah. You could go like this. Lo b'tefila avoda bilvad nagish et hitkarvutenu el Hashem v'taneg miziv kodesh yitbarach. Not just when you're praying and doing your holy things should you feel your closeness to Hashem and delight in the radiance of His glory, may He be blessed. Right, that's how some people learn, and they're like, okay, I understood what the words meant, but you should be saying the words, v'titanag miziv kvoda yitbarach. I'm freaking out a little bit. The radiance of His glory, may He be blessed. The radiance of His glory. That's why you don't feel it, because when you read it, you're just like the radiance of His glory, and then you go on to the next. I understood the idea. I understood what the words meant. I translated the words well, and I understood it, and I'm moving on now. No, you have to say those words, miziv kvoda yisbarach, and stop for a moment and be like, wow, the radiance of His glory is crazy. Did anyone say Aleinu this morning? At the end of davening, he said Aleinu. The second paragraph of Aleinu, and I teach this a lot. The first paragraph of Aleinu, you're speaking about God. The second paragraph of Aleinu, you're speaking to God. Al kein nikavel lecha. You have to feel that difference. If you didn't feel that difference, you weren't in the game. It's like, imagine I'm speaking about the Rosh Yeshiva. Wow, the Rosh Yeshiva is great. He's got such good character traits, and I heard him say this idea, and then he walks in the room. I'd be like, hi, Rosh Yeshiva. I'd feel an immense difference at that point, and I'd be like, my whole attitude and vibe will be completely different. So if you don't get that when you're saying the second paragraph of the Aleinu, it means you're just saying words, really. Okay. That's the first thing. Benching. First paragraph of benching. Are you speaking about God or to God? Hu noitein lechem lecha basar. Hu noitein lechem. You're speaking about God. Second paragraph of benching. Noide lecha. Now I'm speaking to God. You have to feel that. If you didn't feel that, you were just singing a song. Noide lecha. But you told. Third one. To or about. You're speaking to God. To God. Fourth one. Hu hetiv, hu metiv, hu. First one's about, second one's to, third one's to, fourth one's about. You have to feel that. But anyway, the first line of the second paragraph of Aleinu. Al kein nikaveh lecha Hashem Elokeinu lirot mehera b'tiferet uzecha. And therefore, we are yearning to you, God, our God, to very quickly see Tiferet Uzecha, the beauty of your power. Do you feel that when you say those words? Are you actually yearning to see the beauty of God's power? Tiferet Uzecha, the harmony of God's greatness, however you want to translate Tiferet Uzecha. Are you? The Chofetz Chaim, I believe, says, if you aren't, you just lied. You just said the second paragraph of the Shema, of the Aleinu, and you lied. Therefore, I am yearning to see the glory of your power. But if you're not, then you shouldn't say that to Hashem.
What does it mean to see the glory?
Exactly, so you need to ask that. Not only that, by the way, but it says, Lirot betiferet uzecha, with the harmony of your power. So it's not even to see it, it's to see with it, or to see in it, or ask everyone you meet now, what does that mean? Every rabbi you see, say, what on earth does that mean? I've got my idea. I asked many people, I didn't get a good answer. My idea is, I want to see the world through God's eyes. I want to see the world how God sees the eyes through His beautiful, harmonious strength. But I'm not asking Hashem to see His greatness, His harmony, because it says B'tiferet. I mean, to see with His great, or maybe to see in it, yes.
Rabbi, so this kavanah that you're talking about, whether it's in Shemona Esrei or benching, these are very lofty levels, something that a lot of people would struggle to even get halfway toward. So what's more practical, slower, but still...
There's one level which is feel like you're talking to God who's there, and I think everyone can.
Okay.
Maybe you're not going to be like, but just see like, God's actually there. I'm actually speaking to God who's actually right in front of me now. Like you'll speak to me, and then we're speaking, That should be the most simple, basic kavanah. And I think everyone can do that. It might not cause the most awe-inspiring, but just a little bit of it, like Baruch Atah Hashem. Baruch Atah. Sometimes I've got a sub-commentary going on in my head. Baruch Atah Hashem. I'm really trying to feel that you're really here now. Hashem. I often have a like sub-commentary in my Shmoneh Esrei as well. Down in my Shmoneh Esrei, and then I've got a like commentary, a tefillah within my tefillah. Please Hashem, help me feel that I'm really speaking to you now. And then I try not to say the word Hashem until I feel like I'm actually saying it to Hashem who's actually there. I think we can do that.
My Hebrew's not good enough right now to like be able to read in Hebrew with Kavanah and understand the words. So like I fulfill it in Hebrew, and I have Kavanah the whole time, but I don't know exactly what I'm doing. It's more important to do it in Hebrew. English.
You have to know what I say. But then you sit down and you learn. But Hashem doesn't need you to read words. It's Ulpa, it's not Ulpa. Mincha is not Ulpa. So you say it in English. So, what I used to do was I first did it in English, but then I did it, the paragraph in English, and then the last thing, Baruch Atah Hashem, in Hebrew. Like, Atah choneh la'adam dat, u'melemed le'enosh binah chanenu mitcha chachma bina dat, de'ah bina haskel. Oh, I'd say in English. You graciously give people knowledge, give us knowledge. But the last bit, Baruch Atah Hashem, choneh dat, I'd say in Hebrew, because I could learn that bit. And then a little bit slowly over time, I'd learn the word. My very first Siddur, you'll see I've got translations above each word. Until I learned it, and now I know. But the Arizal actually says that ultimately, you should really be davening Shemona Esrei with your eyes closed. Because you don't want to feel like you're reading at all. You want to feel like you're speaking. So he says, you've got a choice. You either have your eyes closed or you're reading from inside the Siddur. Those are your two places your eyes can be whilst you're davening. But the Rambam, and everyone says, if you don't understand what you're saying, you didn't do it. Imagine I come up to my wife and I'm like, someone gives me some Italian love poem. I'm like, it's quite meaningless. Even if I really mean it. She's like, that's so beautiful, what did it mean? And I say, I don't know. And she'll be like, oh. Because if you don't know what you're saying, it's hard to mean it. I really mean this. What are you saying? I don't know, but I mean it. Although Hashem does love that. Hashem loves it when we mean it, even if we don't know what it's saying. When Shimshon was 3, he got so he's like, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam she'akol niyeh beseder. Everything's going to be okay. She'akol niyeh bidvaro is meant to be. She'akol niyeh beseder. I think Hashem loved that. He's like, that's the best bracha ever. Because he really meant it. Wow, we said we've done 7 words today. So not only when you're davening should you feel delight in the radiance of God's glorious glory. Rak gam tamid tihei machshavotenu kol kach barach hazaka kshua b'kedushato. But actually all the time, I've been saying this in all of our classes, that spirituality isn't just something you tap into once in a while. You go to a yoga lesson and you have a daf yomi shiur, but then you're just living your life. That's not what we're doing. Spirituality is a way of being. That's how you see the world. But he's making it even more clear. Rakam tamid tihei machshavotenu. Our thoughts. You are where your thoughts are, say our holy sages. What you are thinking about, that becomes your reality. So if you walk from here to the Makolet, you walk from here to the shop to buy something, and you're just thinking about what do people think of me, or where am I going for Shabbos, or whatever you think about, you just walk to the shop without God. Obviously God's there, but you walked without God. If you're walking to the shop thinking about how amazing God is, then you just walk to the shop with God. That's it. The more you think about God, when you think about God, God is there. That's what makes God be there. Obviously God's there when you're not thinking about Him, but for you, He's not. You know what's there? Your plans for the weekend, and you're this. So what we really would like to try to do is it's like a screensaver. You should have a screensaver. When you're not using your mind to learn Torah or make money to feed your family, you should immediately just go back to God. We have this phrase, Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. I should keep Hashem in front of me at all times. One of the most simple meanings of that is literally the letters Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey should be a screensaver in my consciousness. I heard that someone made contact lenses with Yud Hey and Vav Hey. Don't know if it's true or not, but I think it's cool.
As you walk into the back.
Pardon?
As you walk into the back.
Don't know, so maybe took them out. Anyway, I don't know if it's true, but I think it's cool. I don't think you should do that. But I think, I used to have a little thing in my pocket. Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, and just pull it out. Maybe I'll get it again. Should we all do that? Make little... But then you couldn't go in there, you'd have to leave it out when you go in the bathroom.
Is it 2 coverings or 3?
If you have 2 coverings, you're fine.
So if it's laminated in your pocket?
I don't know the answer to that. Laminated in your pocket, is that considered 2 coverings? Let's ask Rav Albas. But I'd like to know that. I feel it doesn't feel like 2 coverings because it's not covered. But it is covered, but it's not. I love Judaism. It's like, there's an answer to this question. Isn't that cool? Is a see-through covering considered a covering? Some people are like, of course, it's covered. But no, if you can see it, that's not called covered. But it is covered, it wouldn't get wet. If you pour, it's not going to get ruined. So it's clearly covered because water's not going to ruin it. But is it covered when it comes to seeing? And what does God need when you're in the bathroom? He needs it's covered as in it's protected, or it's covered as in you can't see it. How good is Gemara? Gemara teaches you to think like this. And then people are like, oh, what, who cares if it's covered or not? But we're like, amazed. This is like chess. This is like, is it covered? Is it not covered? And we'll argue. You'll see me and Rav Moshe Chaim will be sitting there arguing. I know they were covered. They're not called covered. Yeah, but Hashem sees through your clothes anyway. So Hashem doesn't need to not be able to see it. Hashem sees everything. So maybe he just needs to be protected. And he'll be like, but no, because it's a conscience. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so good. It's so good being Jewish. It's so good in every way. I was at a wedding the other night. I was like, it's so good. Why do I need to persuade people to be religious? It's the best. It's amazing. You don't even need to sit in the classroom. Just come to one religious wedding and just see the holiness and the joy, and you'll be like, what is that? You have no idea. People's biggest joy is that their team wins the Super Bowl or something. They don't know what simcha is. A normal person, it makes me so happy when this happens. That's a smidge of a smidgen of what simcha really is. You go to a wedding, you'll see. And your own wedding, oh my goodness, it's not normal. It's not normal. And I've been to some crazy all-night parties in my life before, with all kind of stuff helping me feel high. But my wedding, I was just like, it was a joke those days. I just thought, oh my goodness, those days back in Camden Palace, nothing. You have to purify yourself. You have to purify yourself in order to get it. In the other way, you have to impurify yourself. It's highness on the side of impurity, which is very powerful, by the way. Whoa, that's very good. But your wedding night is going to be highness on the power of complete purity, and that's true, like, highness. That's why we call Hashem your highness. Just made that up.
Makes sense.
So it's all about your machshava. Lots of our mitzvahs, we've certainly got the 6 constant mitzvahs, is only in thought. Well, one of them, Lo tatru achrei levavchem achrei nechem, is don't act on your cravings and guard your eyes. But in general, loving Hashem, having awe of Hashem, knowing that Hashem is one, all of these things, they're just thought. You can be standing at the bus stop doing the deepest mitzvah in the world. You can never say to yourself, I don't have to fill in, what mitzvah? There's no mitzvah available, there are no poor people to give money to, there's no Pesach, I can't eat matzah, I'm just standing at the bus stop, I don't have any Torah on me, there's no mitzvah. No, think about God, that's an unbelievable mitzvah. Just think, wow, there's a God, keeping me alive right now, everywhere. That's amazing. Now you're doing a mitzvah all the time. There could be no tzitzit all the time. Let's say your tzitzit got stolen. The tzitzit got stolen, God forbid. You've also got your bris, Baruch Hashem. That's always there. But you shouldn't necessarily always be so conscious of it. But, tzitzit stolen, no Torah book on you, whatever, you got beaten up, your tefillin got stolen, you're lying on the floor, bleeding, and you're like, there's no mitzvah I can do now. Yes, there is. Emunah, the mitzvah of emunah, believing that this is all for the best. Great. So you're lying there bleeding, like, yes, there's a God. And the ambulance comes and picks you up, and they're like, are you okay? I just heard you got beaten up. You're like, Yesh Elokim, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. And they'll be like, oh my goodness, he's got beaten up, he's gone crazy. And it's like, no. I know there's a God. There's a God. Just knowing that there is a God is a mitzvah, and maybe the greatest mitzvah. Just knowing there's a God, and that you can do all over. Never. You can never be bored. I'm so bored. Well, why aren't you knowing there's a God? No, I did that. I did it yesterday. You idiot. Hi, Rabbi. Sorry to keep you waiting. I wasn't waiting. I was knowing there was a God. You idiot. I have a question.
Yeah, in that talk an hour ago, you say using your machshava should be have your eyes open, trying to connect, knowing there's a God, perhaps His creation of the world, or would you say eyes closed and just
Either. That's beautiful. Both are beautiful. Anything is great. God forbid somehow you got blindfolded as well, so you couldn't see the beautiful world. You can imagine the beautiful world and say, "Wow, I know there's a beautiful world out there." Always, you can always be doing this. Machshava Tova kol kach bara. Your thought must be bara, clear. Is your thinking clear? Do you think clearly, or is it a bit confusing? And you're like, or you can say, I'm very clear. Very clear on my purpose. Very clear on God. Very clear on my issues that I need to work on. I'm just very clear. I'm not confused. I'm very, very rarely confused. Very clear. Clear what I need to do. Very clear. Good. I'm clear what the issue is. That's also called clear. That's okay. You've got to think clearly. V'chazaka, strong. Do you have strong thought? Are you fixed on something strongly? And fixed on, or are you very easily distracted? Distracted. When you're davening mincha and someone coughs, you're like, you're like, I'm going to pray for that guy who just coughed, because maybe he'd rather not have a cough. It's strong. I'm going to concentrate on Hashem. But these people are distracting me. I can't get distracted. I'm looking. You're having a date with your most beautiful woman you've ever seen, and someone coughs, you don't hear them. They don't exist. You're just in that date world. You're there. So things are crashing around you, and you're there. I didn't notice. The whole world is crashing down around me because I was with her. And when I'm with her, the rest of the world doesn't mean so much. So you have to have very clear, strong thought. Cheburah b'kedushato. Cheburah means connected, tied up. Kashor. Kashor means to tie. So you want your thoughts to be tied to God's holiness. What does that mean? That's where it is. You can't. It's not so easily taken away. Now I'm thinking about the sports again, and now I'm thinking about that. No, I'm tied to God. I was tied there. And then your Yetzer Hara says, "Hey, let's think about that," but you're like, "I can't. I'm tied to God." Your Yetzer Hara is like, "Let's think about that woman and the money and the food. What's for lunch? What's for dinner tonight? Food, so that you can eat to stay alive, to serve God. What do you mean? Food. So your mind, your Yetzer Hara wants you to think about food a lot. Did you know that? What food? Well, that's so tasty. Or hot sauce. So we're gonna have hot sauce or barbecue sauce. Is schnitzel? Is it schnitzel day today? Your Yetzer Hara wants that. Rav Moshe Feinstein never thought about food. He ate food. When food came, he ate it to stay alive, to learn Torah. God bless you. So your mind, your Yetzer Hara is going to want you to think about food, but you're going to be so tied to Hashem, you'll be like, I'm sorry, I'd like to think about it, but I just can't, because I'm thinking about Hashem. And what's more pleasurable? Thinking about Hashem or thinking about schnitzel? Don't answer that question yet. But it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. If you enjoy thinking about food more than you enjoy thinking about Hashem, there's something you don't fully understand. Just understand that. And there's nothing wrong with you, not a bad person, and it's a high level. Remember, I said I'm teaching at this level, foundations, I have to teach you the highest level, so you at least have a vision of where we're trying to get to. This is amazing. I don't think we have time to go into this. I think let's do it quickly. Your thoughts are so tied to God consciousness. It's exactly what I just said, actually. Until you completely overcome your senses, your primary stuff. You just overcome it. So not only will our sensory desires, things we're seeing and hearing and craving and wanting, not only will they not be able to confuse us and mess up our thoughts, not only that, I just described a level where you're so connected to Hashem that those animalistic thoughts just can't even really get in the way and confuse you. He says this, and all that, you know what your senses are saying to you? This is the world. You can't see God. What are you talking about? This is the world. Get a job. Just get in the real world. When are you going to live in the real world? It's enough in yeshiva. It's time to live in the real world. Go and get a job. And you say to people like that, you say, that's not the real world. That's Alma de Shikra. That's the fake world. I am in the real world. Yeshiva is the real world. 1 second. But your senses and everything is going, this is the world. You're just feeling materialism. That's all there is. Right? So not only will we not buy into that, but the opposite, we're actually going to take our senses and our desires and we're going to subjugate our whole physical being into the thoughts of godliness. Not only are they not going to beat us, which is a good level, I'm not going to get sucked away, but we're going to suck them in. And we're going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to use my eyes to look at the beautiful world that God made. I'm going to use my mouth to eat that schnitzel and say, wow, Hashem, schnitzel. Baruch atah Hashem, I'm going to use my ears that you gave me not to listen to some death crash metal, but to listen to beautiful nigunim. I'm going to take it. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to take the whole of that and use it, all of that to serve Hashem. Not only is it not going to bring me down, I'm going to bring it up. A question, yes, sir.
I was curious if you've ever tried or familiar with sensory deprivation chambers with flotation tanks.
I haven't, but I've done silent meditation retreats, which is almost complete deprivation. But you always hear something, but I haven't done that. I'd like it, I believe. But I don't think we need that. I think we're almost the opposite. We're bringing everything we sense to the service of God. But maybe in order to get there, you might have to go through a bit of deprivation first, in order to find that deep space within yourself that you can come out and then come and lift everything up. Be'ez Hashem, good Shabbos.